Hello everyone, it is TooAwesome here with another video. Sorry for how I sound. I am a little sick at the moment, so I apologize for all of that. Now, I am a little behind on my schedule with some of my videos since I have been super busy, so I'm not caught up with a lot of the anime that are finishing recently, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to go back and talk about a show that, in my opinion, isn't talked about enough. So today, I will be talking about the criminally underrated comedy, Scissor Seven. Scissor Seven first released on January 10th of 2020. I didn't watch it when it immediately came out, however, I did watch it a few months later, and I probably would have talked about it back when I first watched it, but it was around the time I watched The Great Pretender, and that show did sort of outshine this one, but to be fair, it has outshined a vast amount of shows, and if it wasn't for season 2, it probably would still be on my top 10. But I do still have really fond memories of Scissor Seven. To begin with, this show is an action, comedy, slice of life blend, incorporating aspects of all three, but heavily on the comedy and action, and probably focusing the most on the comedy itself. But that isn't to say there is little to no action in this show, because for a spoof type like this one, it actually has some really good fights. Like, I was surprised at times at how good some of them were. Even the animation during these fights were a step up, which is really funny to say since this whole show is almost a spoof on the whole action anime genre as a whole, sort of like One Punch Man but to an extreme of sorts. It even holds a whole system like One Punch Man with the assassin rankings, which is kind of a spin on the whole hero rankings and classes they have in One Punch Man. I think now would be a great time to talk about our main character and the story. The show is split into short episodic adventures that sometimes bridge over into one another when a larger story is needed to be told, while carrying the narrative of our main character, Seven, who wants to climb up the assassin rankings, all while having to keep up his front business as a hair salon / barbershop. Seven also has the ability to change into anything via a special egg, which allows him to better complete his missions. But to be honest, he is a really bad assassin, and it's really funny to watch him struggle and try to complete his assassin missions. It is honestly really engaging, and the show does have a good reason for it, but I won't say anything here since I thought it was really cool to discover during the show, and that mostly has a lot to do with his past, but I won't speak too much about that because, like I said, it's fun to experience things for yourself. Seven isn't the only cool character though. To be honest, a vast amount of the characters in this show are really interesting and unique. Like, it's always so great to see a show have such a good cast, and it was always funny to see someone earlier in the show come back later in some way. The character designs as well are super unique and different. Just like the tone of the show, the characters themselves have this wacky flair that is just so unique to Scissor Seven. Also, the chickens in this show just in general were so dope. Some were cute, some were funny, some were badass, and I don't know why this show was so obsessed with chickens, but hey, I'm not complaining because I was loving it. Also, my little sister found them quite funny, so another win for the funny blue chickens. Also, Dai Bo is the go, alright? Now, this is a Chinese anime, so it is going to be a little different than some of your more traditional Japanese anime, but it doesn't take away from the experience at all. If anything, it almost elevates it since it is so different. And that uniqueness can be heavily seen in the comedy. It is a really wacky and off-the-wall type of humor. Trust me, it's really odd, but if it's your style of comedy, you'll love it. And I will admit that this type of comedy may not be for everyone. However, if you click with it, it will be such an amazing ride. Like, it can be really wacky and insane that at some points it reminded me of other shows like Space Dandy. Maybe I'm stretching, but that's what it felt like to me. But even then, this show does have a really unique sense of humor. Even looking back at clips of the show, I still laugh. Like, some of these jokes are just so out there that it almost takes you by surprise. And even some of the little things in the show got a laugh out of me. Like, I don't know what it is, but the humor in this show is truly a gem. I don't think it would be anywhere near what it is or even functional without it. And not only is the humor great, but like I said before, some of the fights are amazing as well. They looked really good at times and had this blend of badass and funny. It truly is a unique combination that I can only really say that this show pulls off. Now, this is also one of those shows that actually has a good English dub. I myself did watch this show in English, and out of the two languages available, personally I like the English dub more. But hey, you can do whatever you like or prefer. I just recommend English for this show since it was surprisingly good in my opinion. Plus, I feel like it adds quite a bit to some of the jokes and delivery, but hey, you do you. I also believe this show is actually pretty good for beginners to anime. Now, I know I talked about how wacky and odd this show can be, but if you're into the humor, I think you could really get into it. And honestly, it's not too far off from comedies like Family Guy, Futurama, and The Simpsons in some ways. And I know that some of those shows have humor aimed more at adult audiences, but some of the jokes that are aimed more at teens and such are pretty similar to the jokes present in Scissor 7. It has a very much teenager sense of humor, and maybe that's why I clicked with it so much. But if you're coming in expecting some masterpiece that will have an in-depth commentary on real-world issues, then you may be a little disappointed. However, if you're looking for a fun time that will have you watching and laughing along for a few minutes, then this show is for you. And it's also pretty short as well. So far, it has a total of 2 seasons with 10 episodes each and 4 pretty fun OVAs that tie into the story quite well. And while the episode count may not be the shortest, the episodes are really short themselves. The shortest episode is a mere 11 minutes, and the longest episode is only 20, and for the most part they stay around the 15-minute mark, so it was honestly such a breeze to get through. Especially with all that was going on in the show, it will pass you by in no time. I'm actually still waiting for Season 3 since I want more of this show, and Season 3 was scheduled to release during early 2021, however that has passed so I'm not quite sure when it will come out, but I am really looking forward to it, because this was a show that captured my attention so well to the point where I couldn't really look away, and just kept clicking onto the next episode, so go give this show a shot. Because it really needs more attention for just how good and unique it is. So Scissor 7 gets a solid 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this show and I'm sure you will too. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If anyone knows if the 3rd season came out yet, please let me know. Some sites say that it is, but I can't seem to find it on Netflix myself, so I'm not quite sure, since I do believe it is a Netflix exclusive, so if anyone knows where the 3rd season is at, it would mean a lot. Also, if you have any comments of your own, make sure to leave them down below. Trust me, I read them. Also, look at this graph. Okay, but as always, stay awesome, TooAwesome. Thanks for watching.